This might be hard to hear, but you're wasting your potential. Not because you're not capable, not because you don't have talent, not because you weren't given enough opportunity, but because you're not using what you already have. You have ideas you haven't acted on, goals you keep thinking about, a version of your life you imagine, but never fully commit to. And instead of moving forward, you wait. You wait for motivation, you wait for the perfect time, you wait until you feel ready. But that moment, it never comes. Potential is dangerous because it feels like progress without requiring action. You can sit there and think, I could be doing more, I could be better, I have so much in me. And that thought alone gives you comfort. But comfort isn't progress. Thinking about change is not the same as making it. The truth is, you're not stuck. You're avoiding discomfort. Because becoming who you want to be requires things you don't always feel like doing. Consistency, discipline, repetition, failure, embarrassment. And that's where most people stop. You don't lack potential, you lack execution. That's the difference. There are people with less talent than you that are doing more than you right now. Not because they're better, but because they're more consistent. They show up when they don't feel like it. They work when it's boring. They keep going when it's slow. And over time, that compounds. You keep overthinking your next move, planning, researching, watching others do it. But at some point, thinking becomes a distraction because it feels productive without the risk of failing. But nothing changes until you do something. Let's be honest, you know what you should be doing right now. You know the habits you need to build. You know the distractions you need to cut off. You know the effort it requires. You're just not doing it consistently. And that's where your potential is just being wasted. It's not in one big mistake. It's in the small decisions. Choosing comfort over growth. Choosing distraction over discipline. Choosing later other than now. Every single day. You don't need a new plan. You need to follow the one that you already have. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. Because motivation fades. It's temporary. It comes and goes. But discipline stays. The version of you that reaches your potential is not a different person. It's you with better habits, more focused, more consistent, more willing to do what's required even when it's uncomfortable. Right now, you're in between. You're aware of your potential, but not fully committed to it. And that gap, that's where frustration lives. Because you can feel what you're capable of, but you're not living it. Imagine where you'd be if you stayed consistent for 1 year. Not perfect, not extreme, just consistent. Doing what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like it. That version of your life is not far away. It's on the other side of discipline. You're not behind. You're just delaying. Delaying effort, delaying focus, delaying the version of you that you know exists. And here's the part most people ignore. Wasting your potential does not feel like failure. It feels like comfort. It feels like scrolling instead of working. Like talking about goals instead of chasing them. Like staying where you are because it's familiar. That's why it's dangerous. Because it doesn't hurt immediately. It just slowly keeps you the same. But one day, it will hurt. When you look back and realize how much time has passed. How many chances you didn't take. How much you could have done. That regret, that's heavier than effort ever was. You don't need to change your whole life today. You just need to start. Small, consistent, intentional. Do the work, even when it's boring. Even when no one sees it. even when it feels like nothing is happening, because something is. You're building momentum, and momentum changes everything. You're not wasting your potential because you can't succeed. You're wasting it because you haven't decided to fully commit yet. So decide. Not tomorrow, not when it's easy, but now. Because your potential doesn't mean anything if it stays unused. And the life you want, it's built by what you do daily, not what you think about occasionally. You're capable of more. You know it. I know it. Now you have to start acting like it.